it for 3 weeks. The government will shut down again, but the president, ignore what Nancy said today because that's just garbage. The president gets his State of the Union address.
Whoa! What she said today is garbage. You're talking about the woman who's now the queen of the hill, partner. You know what?
in her own mind.
Maybe in her own mind, but on this broadcast, she's the winner.
When Lou Dobbs is the voice of reason, Katie by the door. Welcome back to AM Joy. So far, Donald Trump's presidency has been defined by the power of right-wing media. Let's not forget, it was people like Ann Coulter and Rush Limbaugh who caused Trump to flip the script and push the U.S. toward its longest shutdown in history. Now that it's clear Trump caved to Speaker Nancy Pelosi and agreed to reopen the government temporarily, right-wing media, well, their reaction is mixed. You heard one take calling Trump's move, quote, a masterstroke. Here's another.
Crazy that I expect a president to keep the promise he made every day for 18 months.
How concerned should we be, Seb? I mean, she has just whipped the president of the United States. You know, I'm a animated, energetic supporter of this president.
Yes.
But you've got to call it as it is. This president said it was going to be conditional border security, building that wall, and he just reversed himself. That's a victory for Nancy Pelosi. It will be perceived as such on every television monitor screen in the country.
So, if Trump's favorite right-wing media personalities pushed the shutdown and it failed to get him any money for his border wall, what does this say not only about Donald Trump's power, but the power of the people Trump appears to listen to most, conservative pundits on television? Joining me now is Orlena Maxwell, Director of Progressive Programming for SiriusXM, Eric Bowler, media analyst and author, E.J. Dionne, a Washington Post columnist and also amazing author, and Jonathan Capehart, also a columnist at the Washington Post. We are stacked with Washington Post personalities. But I'm going to come right first to Eric Bowler first. I want to play Jeanine Pirro, probably Trump's biggest fan and probably most dressed up fan because she's always dressed as if she's about to go to a ball and just praising Trump to the hills. And here she is saying this was an amazing end to the shutdown last night.
He did not cave. He made a tactical decision, a strategy decision to pick the ground to fight on. He chose to stop the fight today to fight another day. And that day will be February 15th. Closing the government tore at him. Opening it, whether it's a popular move, is irrelevant in his mind. And remember, this war is not over. It's nothing but a hollow victory for the Democrats.
Okay, it sounds like a motivational speech given to Donald Trump, right? It sounds like she's saying, come on, mister, here's your talking points, you're the winner. Does the people in right-wing media really believe that?
I think she does, sure. I think Sean Hannity believes it. Look, I mean, we've described this as a cult. This is cultish behavior. I mean, if you watch what, 35-day shutdown, and he got exactly what he would have gotten on day one, and to describe that as a victory, when your approval rating is down to 34%, you're marching the Republican Party off a cliff. If you're going to look at that and say it's a victory, it's cultish behavior. Look, I think one of the big pictures we're starting to see the downside, right? The Republican Party for years thought this nexus between them and Fox News was win-win, right? Free marketing, free branding. We're going to be an echo chamber. Now we see the downside when you follow this off the cliff. And there's no one putting up any stop signs. And we've talked about how they were marching into a dead end, and they've done it. And now, what are they going to do? Describe it as a victory, I guess. It's
interesting, Zerlina, because you're in talk radio, so you know that the talk radio feels incredibly powerful that you're talking directly to the public. And so I'm sure that people in this field, in Fox News and in right-wing media world, feel incredibly powerful now that they've actually gotten a guy in the White House. But now I think they're finding out that actually running the country from their script is actually a lot more difficult than it turns out to be. Here's Sean Hannity also trying to, in a sense, talk to Trump and buck him up. Here's Sean Hannity.
And anyone out there, by the way, thinking President Trump caved today, you don't really know the Donald Trump I know. He right now holds all the cards. He will secure the border one way or another.
It's a bit sad to listen to them try to buck him up. But they must think if he fails, they fail too.
Yeah, it turns out that you shouldn't listen to Sean Hannity when it comes to governing the country. But I think that it sort of unveiled the fact that Donald Trump has been a con artist this entire time. He sold himself as a great negotiator, We knew that wasn't true, but I think that going up against somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who understands how the government works, and you have people in the White House who don't understand how the government works, it just exposed the lie. And I think that, you know, when you're listening to Ann Coulter and Sean Hannity, whose real motivation is ratings, right, and getting eyes on their programs and all the books that they're selling,
books, yeah.
right, they have a different goal than you should have if you were actually in government trying to do things for the American people. And so I think that this is a moment in which those two things did not jive, right?
Yeah.
They have two different goals, and Donald Trump needs to stop listening to Ann Coulter, and I don't know who he's going to listen to, because there's not really anybody in the White House that is